Hello, and welcome to another edition of Just 5 Minutes in Acts, short 5-minute reflections from the New Testament book called The Acts of the Apostles. I'm Clay Brown, Associate Pastor for Equipping Ministries at Memorial Drive Presbyterian Church, Houston, Texas. And from today's reading, we're going to take one thought and then one implication of that thought. And by implication, I simply mean if the thought's on target, then here's what it can mean for your life and mine. The passage, Acts chapter 2, verses 14 through 41. Peter's sermon to the gathered pilgrims in Jerusalem on Pentecost. I want to focus on verses 14 through 16. Let me read them from the New Living Translation. Then Peter stepped forward with the 11 other apostles and shouted to the crowd, "Listen carefully, all of you, fellow Jews and residents of Jerusalem. Make no mistake about this. These people are not drunk, as some of you are assuming. 9 o'clock in the morning is much too early for that. But this is what was uttered through the prophet Joel." What's the one thought here? Peter is a radically changed guy. Think back to the Gospels. Peter sometimes pops off with comments that make you go, huh? You know, like that one person in a meeting who says something that just makes you wonder, what is he thinking? Maybe I should just do something like check my messages, since this meeting just rolled over and died. Yeah, the first century equivalent of that guy is Peter. Peter was ashamed of any association with Jesus when Jesus was being tried. And now, after the resurrection, Peter's shown a little bit of leadership. But his game has just risen to a whole new level because of the presence of the Holy Spirit. Note he's not by himself, not out on a tangent, not playing the Lone Ranger. He's with all the other apostles, and he addresses the crowd by first answering the question foremost on their minds. Are they drunk? His answer, no, silly, of course not. It's 9 a.m. What's happening was prophesied by the Old Testament prophet Joel. And then Peter goes on to describe in direct and understandable ways why the Holy Spirit has come, who Jesus is, and what Jesus has done. Far different from the bragging and timid man we see in the Gospels. Peter has been changed inside and out. He is the poster child for the transformation that can come only through Jesus and the Holy Spirit. Now, what's one implication of this thought? Radical life change is still happening today, even to people like us. We may tend to think that radical life change may have happened in the first century startup days of Christianity, but it rarely occurs now. Wrong. I hold in my hand a book by Tom Rainer, The Unexpected Journey. In this book, he and his wife Nellie Jo go cross-country talking with people who've had their lives unexpectedly and radically changed by Jesus Christ. A former atheist, a husband and wife pair of former Latter-day Saints high up in the church, a former Wiccan, a former agnostic, a former Buddhist, a former black Muslim, then traditional Muslim, and so on. All of them describe in detail who they were before and how Jesus Christ led them to himself and changed them dramatically. The former black Muslim, then traditional Muslim, a seminary student. The former LDS leaders, they had their livelihood completely destroyed due to boycotts in their small Utah town, but they held tightly to Christ throughout. The former Wiccan, the healing of her hearing problem in a small Assemblies of God congregation turned the tide for her. The former agnostic states, quote, "I believe every agnostic and atheist is just a lost soul seeking love. Never give up on a person, never judge them, accept them as they are, and soon they will see Christ in you." Well, that's pretty accurate, isn't it? Never give up on people. Judging is above our pay grade. Just let people see Christ in us and be there for them. Be able to articulate what you believe and why, and perhaps God will use you to reach them. Or maybe you're in need of a radical life change yourself. I don't know the circumstance, but you do, and so does Jesus, like you could fool him. Just talk to him right now. Admit to Him that you're as messed up and flawed and fallen as every other human being on the planet, and that you need to confess and to be changed and to follow Jesus Christ as Lord. He'll hear you. I promise. Well, I think that's enough for now. Questions? Email me at cbrown@mdpc.org. That's cbrown@mdpc.org. Next time, Acts chapter 2, verses 42 through 47. One thought, one implication. Thanks. God bless. Take care.